Conservative Democratic lawmaker and Senator Joe Manchin is pretending, at least, to be shocked that Republican lawmakers have effectively blocked an effort to form a commission to investigate the riots that took place in the nation's capital on January 6th. So only 6 GOP senators voted in favor of that commission on Friday, short of the 10 needed to pass the proposal. Just a quick side note, Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema didn't even show up to vote, so she certainly doesn't deserve any positive commentary in this story either. But according to the Daily Beast, ahead of Friday's vote, as Republican opposition to the Insurrection Commission solidified, Manchin issued a call imploring his colleagues to consider passing the legislation. He said he couldn't imagine why Senator Mitch McConnell's conference would block a bipartisan effort to get to the bottom of the attack on the Capitol. In fact, he was quoted as saying, "There is no excuse for any Republican to vote against this commission since Democrats have agreed to everything they asked for." But guess what? They did block the commission, even though they allegedly got everything that they asked for. And even with this whole incident, even with the fact that not a single Republican lawmaker voted in favor of Joe Biden's coronavirus relief package after Manchin had provided the concessions they wanted, he is still unwilling to do away with or reform the Senate filibuster. In fact, he was asked about it again. He said, quote, "I'm not separating our country, okay? I don't know what you all don't understand about this. You ask the same question every day. It's wrong." So Ryan, you had mentioned earlier that Republicans don't feel that they can rely on Manchin, sticking to this principle of maintaining the filibuster. Some Democrats think that at the end of the day, Manchin will go ahead and do what they need him to do in at least reforming the filibuster. I mean, what do you predict is really going to happen here?
Oh God, the prediction game. So I could help people frame how they can read those Manchin comments as less unequivocal than they sound. Because I understand for people who don't cover Congress and who aren't who only see kind of Manchin through the prism of Twitter, that when he says, "Look, I've told you a million times, it's wrong. I'm not gonna get rid of it." It sounds like, well, that's what he means. Politicians, you just cannot believe words that come out of their mouth. That it's all positioning. And so, why would this be beneficial positioning to Manchin ahead of his decision to reform the filibuster? And I say reform because that's what he'll call it. He'll never say that he's eliminating it, because whatever replaces it, there will still be some type of filibuster. It just won't give the minority an ability to block and require 60 votes, for the majority to get things through. So why would he do this? And so one explanation would be that he always wants to be shown to have been dragged into a partisan position, kicking and screaming. That he wants to show people back in West Virginia that he has done everything that he possibly could to work with Republicans, that his heart is with the Republicans, that his heart is with bipartisanship, and that it absolutely kills him to be doing what he's doing now, voting to move forward with the filibuster reform. But he just couldn't find enough good patriotic Republicans to go along with him on the needs of West Virginia, on the January 6th commission, the Paycheck Fairness Act, voting rights reform, things that he is proud to say that he supports, but he's not proud of being a Democrat. Like it is a liability to be a Democrat in West Virginia at this point, and so that is an explanation for why he would be, so firm in his position. If you remember, about 6 weeks ago or so, he went on Fox News and said that there ought to be a talking filibuster. So clearly, and he walked that back under pressure. But clearly he doesn't have some abiding moral affinity for a 60 vote cloture and a silent filibuster like that. That's absurd. And he showed that he doesn't have that affinity 6 weeks ago when he floated the possibility of getting rid of it. This is all politics to Manchin. And so I would say, if I had to put my own money on it, I'd put my own money on Democrats failing. I mean, that's always going to be the smarter bet. But I would be nervous, and I would try to put as little money as possible down, because there is a real recognition within the Senate Democratic Caucus that this is a do or die moment.
I want to go to this next clip because this is how Manchin responded to a reporter asking about doing away with the filibuster recently. And of course, it was in response to how Republicans blocked the January 6th commission. Let's take a quick look at that.
The Democrats have basically given everything they've asked for, any impediment that would have been there, and there's no reason not to now, unless you just don't want to hear the truth.
Does it make you reconsider your stance on the filibuster?
Does it make you reconsider your stance on the filibuster? No, before the guy could even finish his question. So I'm with you, Ryan, in regard to if I had to bet money on it, I would bet that Republicans are going to end up winning out in the end, and Manchin is unlikely to agree to even reforming the filibuster. But I also want to just quickly note, it's not only about Manchin. There are other Democratic lawmakers who aren't as vociferous in wanting to maintain the filibuster. Now, Kyrsten Sinema seems to be in favor of also maintaining the filibuster. It's just that Joe Manchin really, I feel like he enjoys the attention that he's getting. And you're right. I mean, it is unpopular to be a Democrat out of a state like West Virginia, but when it comes to the actual policies that the filibuster is standing in the way of, for instance, like the coronavirus relief bill, the upcoming infrastructure bill, the American Families Plan, we're talking about incredibly popular proposals that West Virginians are supportive of. And I've always wondered why it is that the Biden administration is willing to use carrots but not sticks in regard to Democratic lawmakers like Joe Manchin. And is it because Democrats are genuinely under this impression that Manchin at the end of the day will play ball and will help them get rid of the filibuster? Is that what it is? And aren't they putting a lot on the line by making their own prediction here?
Partly it's that, but also partly it's what can you do? Manchin is his own political entity in West Virginia. His ultimate goal is, to go back to the governor's mansion, like that. He's always made that very clear to people that he doesn't really like being in the Senate, that he'd rather go back to being governor again, where he can be an executive. And Democrats trashing national Democrats trashing Joe Manchin actually only helps him get closer to that goal. And so, so you're right. They've gone with the carrots. They stuck his wife on a commission. Some type, I forget what job she got, but they literally gave his wife. Literally gave his wife a job.
No, I love it. I actually have the details on that because I think it's important. The Biden administration absolutely has used carrots, and it's apparently not good enough, at least for the time being. Gail Connolly Manchin was the former president of the State Board of Education in West Virginia. In April, she was nominated by Biden to co-chair the Appalachian Regional Commission, an influential federal board that directs federal economic programs in 13 states, including West Virginia. The Senate actually confirmed her back in May. Or actually not back in May. May was just yesterday.
Right, yesterday.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I'm sure she's as qualified as anybody else to distribute federal money to those states. But the fact that her last name is Manchin, I'm sure didn't hurt her get that job. So Biden has more carrots than he does have sticks. I mean, so he could threaten to withhold money from West Virginia, but then whoever has more leverage is the one that wins those staring contests. And so what is Joe? You have to always ask then, well, what does Joe Manchin do in response to that kind of a threat? Like, okay, then I guess you don't need to pass anything else through the Senate, because that's the problem with negotiating with these centrists is that and conservatives that they're actually okay politically and personally with nothing happening. So Biden is not okay with nothing happening. If Biden's agenda completely stalls, then his presidency is over.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.